Beautiful churches, and they've got this cup sole on, and I've actually got a pair myself with this cup sole on, and this has actually started to happen to mine where the cup sole is bonded on and the glue just starts to come away, and that just pulls off there, although it's stuck quite well there, typical. And this one here, somebody's had to go gluing it back on before at some point, but that will just pull off. The uppers are beautiful. Now there is a little slight problem with these, and that is when they put this cup sole on, they trim the welt really far back, and what it really could use is re-welting. Unfortunately, we don't do re-welting, we just don't have the time for it. But Paul says he can get onto this welt on the boot, and he can, you know, stitch a Dainite sole on. He can do everything that you've asked for in your description, other than you don't get a lot of welt showing. We've done a few pairs before like this, and they look 90%. There's just a slightness about them that looks a little bit odd, makes the shoe look slightly longer, because when you look down from the top, you're not seeing a lot of welt. So we can go ahead and do this repair, but anything you buy that has the cup sole on like this, it's got this welt that's trimmed back, and so we can do it. We can make a lovely job of them. You've got down here orange, olive green, brick red. We would mock them up and do a job on them that just, you know, the colour would be spot on. If you wanted pictures of them mocked up with the different colours, I can do that for you. Or you can just leave it to us and we will do something with them that looks fabulous. Other than you do end up, like I say, a little bit with the welt, short welt, a really small welt. You understand that? So that's your choice. I'll tell you that before. I've checked everything out on these boots and they are beautiful. They really are super nice. But you have the option of having this repair done with us, or we send them back and you find somebody that will re-welt them for you. Okay, so we just couldn't wait to get into these churches here. They really are a nice boot. The cup sole, I didn't dislike the cup sole, and it did wear exceptionally well, but they did always start to come off. If you've got the cup sole and you have a look around the edges where the shoe flexed, you see how it's naturally just here, it's got that tendency to bulge out. And the shoes that I have, the red, white and blue shoes I have, started to bulge there, and I've glued them. And anyway, not that it matters because I don't wear them really. Anyway, underneath that there was a rubber midsole on there, and of course we're getting into the cork. Let's have a look under here. We're going to put all fresh cork in and push this footbed back into place for the shoe's new owner, because I believe these were bought off of some site, and the footbed has settled into the original customer's foot, and now, although it's not bad that really, but this cork is quite hard, so with some fresh cork in there, oh, they'll be gorgeous. So we get all this cork out. I couldn't get the heat gun onto this and it would help it, but there's no chance of me stabbing myself in the hand if I use the heat gun to remove the cork. Get all that cork out of there. Lovely. And then we've got the welt. Now, what I've started doing on the welt, this being a small welt, I've actually started to machine it down on this edge here. And I'm not sure if this will work or not, but I have seen it done before. Machine this to a feather edge, and then when we put the midsole on, bring the midsole and try and get a little bit more welt, because when you look down straight at the boot, you hardly see any welt, and we'd like to see a little bit more welt. What do you think to that, Paul? Are you the idea of me just machining this down to a feather? Look, the welt stitch through the rib is right down there. So if I just bring that down to next to nothing and then put a really stout midsole on for the welt to come back, what do you think? Yeah?
It'll create that welt again, won't it? The look.
It will. So that's what we're gonna have a play at, and hopefully do another video. I say hopefully because sometimes we just get so busy and we get into a job and we just want to get the job done and out the door and back to the customer. But it'd be lovely if we could do a video. So this is the insole. So what we do here, just what they do at the factory, give it a spray with a leather softener, push that back into shape. You see where the big toe has been, just in that area there, and then recork that. And because it's fresh cork, the shoe should bed back in nicely for the new owner of the shoes. But they are lovely. Look at this webbing here that forms the rib, and then the welt stitching. Can you see that right in there? The welt stitching. You can see the staples that are put in initially just to hold the upper over to the rib before it's finally stitched. And yeah, they're all left in. Doesn't matter at all. No detriment. Nice solid. Yeah. Cut your key, buddy. No worries at all. We'll start getting some stitches out and yeah, get these sorted. Right, all cleaned off and the footbed wet and pushed back to place. So now some cork in here. Fresh, lovely, soft cork. Yeah. So I've machined the welt back to a feather edge all around here. I've got it as low as I can. And we'll just see what happens. Oh, there's a bit there. You've not much cork left in this tub, Paul. Have you got some more? How are you doing anyway, Paul? All good with you? Right, what's up with you? You all right? Yeah, it's good. We'll have a day off then. I'm back from my jollies now. I'll give you a hand. Okay, so while we're here, we'll just mention round here was a little bit on both sides, a little bit of super glue that marries up to the cup sole here, where somebody's, see, rock hard here. Somebody's had, look at that, had super glue. They've obviously tried to super glue these edges, and they've got a little bit on the suede at each side of the shoe here. Not a lot we can do about that. I've had a scrape at it and it has soaked in, but I thought, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. You what, sorry? All right, lovely. Okay, so that's that bit done. New cork inside, and it's got the midsole on, and we've now gained about 1.5 mil on that welt. So now when we look down at the shoe, we can actually see some welt, and it's just that little bit. Just that little bit that we wanted, just so it looked right. And the original welt, with it having the cup sole on, it was angled back a little bit as well. So now it's angled out a little bit to give us a little bit more welt showing. And Paul says when he stitches that down, it will stitch down lovely. So that's where we were with the cup sole. And the cup soles, like I was saying, they always give you problems. The cup sole, they always start to come undone when they flex and whatnot. And initially they look great, and they are hard wearing. Right, so the customer has said to us, put on whatever you want. And we're going, okay, leave it to us. Now it's actually come to crunch time. We haven't got the balls to just do something with them. So what we feel is best is to just let the customer see what we can do. This is the clay red. the clay red, and I really love the clay red. What you have to imagine here with the clay red is this is going to be stained this sort of colour. Look here on these triggers that are being stretched. So that sort of colour there, that caramel sort of colour. So imagine that with the clay red sole on there. Are you getting the angle right there? And you can see that on there, yeah. So that's gonna be a little bit slightly jazzy, a little bit, you know. Anyway, that's clay red, choice number 1. Choice number 2 is we have the Ridgeway here in the olive green, and imagine the heel stack. The Ridgeway heel's quite thick, but we machine that down so it all balances and looks beautiful on there. We'll leave all the heel stack in and take the Ridgeway heel down a little bit so it looks nice. And again, with it all stained up, and that's the Ridgeway. Now, the Ridgeway here is in the olive green, and you can also have your Dainite in the olive green. So that's option number 2. Option number 3 is this is a chestnut, a colour that we've got hold of, and I don't think many people have got the chestnut brown on there like that. And again, I get the angle right so you can just see that, how that looks. Of course, you could be really brave, have the orange, and again, remember that these edges will be stained down, and that's with the orange. I could have orange stitching on top as well. Can you have orange stitching on top, Paul? And then, of course, you've got some blues, which we don't think really go that well. 2 different shades of blue. This is an old Sovereign sole. This is the original Dainite sole. So there's also, and of course, there is the brown. The brown that is just a stock standard brown Dainite. So this is a video to our customer, and come on Nick, get in touch with us, let us know what sole you would like on these, and we'll get that cracking for you. I'm back in the first aid box. I slipped on those shoes with my hand, not while I was gouging, and I caught just a little bit of my finger just there on the edge where the super glue was on the welt, and it was razor sharp, and I've been bleeding like a pig. I think I've got thin blood because I've just come back off holiday and we've had quite a bit of alcohol. That's now been stitched round there. Look, Paul's caught this as good as he can. He's got it, look, he's got that. You see in the welt there. Now in some places he's struggled to catch that tiny little bit of welt that was left on this boot, but I mean the final result I think is lovely. It is a little bit of a difficult job, and we are trying our best to make this beautiful. The gentleman's gone, as you can see, for the orange Dainite on there, and that's got the orange Dainite heel with the leather heel stack that comes with these pre-bonded on. That will go onto there. These are Paul's stitching marks. We will trim those off and then stain all the edges up nicely, and that will be the look of this boot. And yeah, I think it'll be fabulous. It'll wear well. We will rivet this heel stack on from the inside, and that will be the Church's boot there, as you can see that, with the orange soles. And maybe the gentleman will put an orange lace in or something, maybe he won't. Round here we have this sole here, which is the Vibram sole called Eton. Lovely, look at that. How nice is that? Gentleman already got his laces on. Fantastic, yeah. And that will obviously all be stained up. Again, he's got the natural welt on top. This is the original. It's actually a stone welt, that, not a barber welt. But yeah.
That's what you can do when you've got a proper welt to work with.
yeah, that's lovely. All this work round here, all waiting to be finished off, all with its full leather soles. Lots of churches kicking about. What's this one here? Another church there, having a lovely repair by Paul, and all stitched in. And yeah, lovely old pair of boots here that have had some conversion. What sort of boot is this, Paul, then? This is the
American firefighter boot, apparently.
American firefighter. Oh, lovely. And then this over here, this lovely trickers that's had the clay red, spongy, soft, lightweight. This chap will be going jogging in these Yeah, really nice. I'm really getting into these lightweight soles. I really like them, all the different colours that they do.
Sport on this one.
Anything else? Anything else? All right, okay, so that's,
Another pair of
yeah,
Chukkas.
lovely, lovely, lovely. So that's going on his other pair. Fantastic. Anything else interesting, Paul? Anything else we can, no, lots of work on.
Just straightforward throughs.
Yeah, yeah, lots of work on. You just stitched 17 pairs on, 17 pair of through soles on. We've got a lovely pair of Barkers that have come in. These are going to have a blue Dainite, so everything's stripped off, blue Dainite on those. Yeah, that's it. Okay,